Hello and welcome back to Getting Started with Zen CSS. My name is Sean Mackey and today I will be covering the Smart Align framework. This is a framework I conceived in collaboration with AI, and we've created a framework where shape, form, everything magically aligns and falls into place. So today we're going to be covering the basic concepts of Smart Align. I'm going to explain the core principles behind it. We're going to discuss utilizing it in a web page, so basic examples of how you can set it up and start to align things. We're going to talk about integrating Smart Align with other Zen CSS components. We're also going to be talking about some advanced features and customizations that you can do, both in terms of layout adjustments and alignment, things of that nature. We'll discuss some responsive design considerations, and then finish out with a conclusion and some additional resources. So the Smart Align framework, I came up with the idea after working with Bootstrap a lot. In my career, I've had to work with especially a lot of earlier versions of Bootstrap, and being frustrated with how you had to change the columns from 6 to 9 to 12, and the offsetting, and just the various ways that that column structure worked. And I wanted something that was simple, that was easy to use, where content would just automatically reflow and fall into place. And so I made it. And that's really the foundation of Smart Align and how it works, right? It's easy to use, it's dynamic, it adjusts across all platforms and sizes, screen sizes, and it's really meant to provide you a framework that you can just put your content in and everything magically works. Now, in terms of the structure, it's comprised of containers and rows and columns like Bootstrap or any of the other popular frameworks you may be familiar with. And if you think of containers like individual sections of your web page, and then you think of rows like those layers in the cake, like we were talking about in the previous video, columns sit inside rows, and they're basically your little content boxes, your little content areas, right? You put one in, you drop your content in it. You put another one in, they move over 50% on each side. You put some more content in each one. And so let's take a look at a pretty simple example. Here we have these buttons, add column and remove column. You can see there's 4 columns shown below. The Smart Align system actually places 4 columns on desktop, 2 on tablet, and 1 on mobile by default. Okay, so you'll see 4 here. If I go ahead and click add column, you'll see it adds a 5th column. That one's now 100%. If I add another one, you'll see they split up 50-50. I hit another one, now they're each 33. I hit another one, now they're each 25%. It's 4 across. And if I were to inspect and go to, let's go to an iPad mini, you'll see that those are now 2 up, 2 columns, right? 2 rows. And then if we switch to an iPhone, for example, they now display stacked, all one on top of each other. And so all of that works out of the box automatically. That is the Smart Align framework. So let's go back into our Zen CSS project folder. Let's open the Hello World section, and let's take all of these different spots, the A spot, the C spot, the D spot. Let's go ahead and delete them, and we will create a new area, and we will just start working. And if you remember the shorthand for creating the Smart Align structure, you just go Zcon, hit Tab, and it automatically puts your column and puts you ready to work. So you can just put a paragraph here, and I could write, hello, I'm in a column. And if we save that and go ahead and look at it, you'll see it printed to the page, hello, I'm in a column. Now let's just go ahead and get rid of that footer because we don't need it there. Now the first thing I want to talk about is styling the column, right? You could give it a class, and let's say you could call it BG Blue and hit save. And now it's going to make that column, remember it's 100%, so it's going to make it full width on that in that container. Now if I were to copy this and put another column and give this one a background of red, and we take a look, you'll see again they're each 50% of the width. And I could continue in this fashion. I could take another, and I could put another one there, and I could call it green. And you would see now there's 3. But let's take it one step further. Let's say we had 6, okay? We have 6, and now it's broken up to 4 on the first line, and remember, the next line there's only 2 left, so they're displaying 50% width each. Let's say we want to put all of these on the same line. We could come up to the row, give the row a class, and we can say 6 up. And then when we hit refresh, it will now display those columns 6 up. And they're going to break down to 3, and then they're going to break, and they're going to stack on top of each other. But let's say we didn't want them to stack on top of each other. Let's say on mobile, we wanted them to still be 2 columns. We could come back here, and we could also give it a mobile 2 up. And then when you scale this down to mobile, it will be 2 columns across. So very versatile in how you can configure both alignment and style. Now let's just go back to 2, and I'll show you how you can feature one column. So if I were to put feature, you will now see the blue column is bigger than the red column because that one's featured. You can also do feature small, feature medium, feature large, and even feature XL. So in that way, you have a lot of flexibility with your grid system. Now, a neat thing about feature XL, if there are 4, feature XL actually becomes double wide, which is nice for different alignment grids, layouts, bento boxes, things of that nature. There's a lot you can do with this idea. Now, another thing you can do is you can nest a container in place of a column. So we're inside the row right now, and I can just do another zcon, and I can nest a container, and let's give this one a class, and let's make it BG purple, just so we know what we're looking at here. And you can see, let me take the feature XL off of this. And so you'll see we're able to use containers in the same way that we use columns. And that is very useful for some advanced layouts. Let's actually take a look at one right now. So if we go over to the site sections and you come to layout grids, you'll see a bunch of various examples of layout grids here. So here's a hero column with 4 underneath. Here's a multi-section right panel. So this is where the container is replacing the column. So we've built a new container structure over here on the right, and then we've put 2 with 3 underneath. And again, these are copy and paste examples that you can literally put in your web page and start to implement them immediately within your designs. And there's also classes to control the ordering, the tablet ordering. You can reverse columns. There's a lot of other fun stuff you can do with SmartAlign. If you go look through the documentation, there's plenty of examples. And so another topic I want to cover really quick is how to use themes within SmartAlign. We haven't actually covered themes yet, but we do offer 7 different themes that you can utilize in your designs. So let's just go ahead and grab one now, and we'll paste it into the project. Actually, it's a column, so let's just go in the column. We'll paste that in, and we will hit refresh, and you will see this themed card over here. You'll see that we've applied theme primary, okay, and that's your primary theme. But you'll see there's not a lot of other styling in here, right? Like this is just an H2, this is a paragraph, it's a button, it's an outline button, right? And so Zen CSS automatically knows when you put theme primary on a column, it's going to style everything inside that according to that primary theme, right? So if I were to put theme, let's say light, you'll see now all the text changed color, everything inside it changed color. And so in that way, you're able to very quickly stylize a piece of content and have it completely change look and feel. Again, all of these themes are set up based on your brand colors that you input into the system. We'll be covering that in a later video. So it's a great way to cross-collaborate with your team, let other folks that may not be as technically savvy, for example, come in and start to build some content, right? Because they can utilize this grid system, they can utilize these themes, and they can get content up and running and active quickly that is on brand for you. And so in this way, the column really marries form and function, right? It's acting as a functional container, but it's acting aesthetically to stylize it through the card class. We'll cover cards a little bit later on. And it's stylizing it through the use of our theming system. And so, for example, if I were to just use the theme out of the box and run Waze on this, you would see Well, there may be some sort of error. There are no contrast errors. Everything will automatically work out of the box. And so if I take theme, let's say dark, and I hit refresh, and I run Waze on it, again, you're not going to get any contrast errors. Same way if I were to do theme light, you'll see everything will swap out automatically. And again, no contrast errors. And so that's a basic overview of the Smart Align framework. We've got a lot of stuff we're planning out for future updates. If there are specific things you want in, classes or functionality, please let us know what you would like to see. And in summary, I hope that with Smart Align, we've created something that will revolutionize how websites are created quickly. In other words, it takes a few characters to build out your container structure. You paste your code in, you give it a theme, you're good to go. It's an integral part of the Zen CSS framework, but it's not mandatory. You do not have to use our container structure. You could use no container structure. You could build your own with divs. You could use Bootstrap, for example, and utilize Zen CSS. You could jump in and out of it whenever need be, whatever suits your project best. And so I encourage you to review the documentation. There's a lot of examples utilizing the framework extensively in different ways to build out all sorts of different components and site sections. And so in the next videos, we'll cover the smart color system, we'll cover the smart text system, we'll talk about themes, light and dark, and we'll continue you on your path to mastering Zen CSS. Have a great day.